Hey everybody, this is Way to Fail with another Scrolls Ranked Replay, where today we have a game between iScRE4m, someone I haven't seen in a while, and OldmansHQ. This is going to be the kind of matchup that you haven't really seen in a while, but the kind of matchup that people still say is overpowered or underpowered or somewhere in between powered. It's order versus order today in Scrolls. Let's go ahead and get started. iScRE4m giving the usual good luck, have fun. Not sure if he was streaming during this, but starts out with a decent hand, some skirmishers early, a Blessing of Haste. Definitely some stuff that he can work with, as it looks like he's probably not using a lot of the small creatures. So kind of an older style order deck here, but he does draw an Imperial Resources early. As obviously we're going from iScRE4m's perspective, not both. iScRE4m ditching the Imperial Resource just because he's not going to be getting it out super early. Sorry for the stutter there. But look at this, just game going back and forth. Pretty quick decisions from both players in their hands early. iScRE4m knowing his hands, so just getting rid of the Mangonel. The Kabonk's going to be good play here. The Blessing of Haste, the Skirmisher as well, if that's what he wants to get out. But right now it looks like Old Man just got to see what he's going to play. Both players not getting out things early, so we're probably going to be seeing some pretty similar order decks between both players. So right away there's the Skirmisher. Does Oldman have something to respond, or HQ or OD? I'm not sure what he wants to be called. Wing Shield. One of those cards that really screws up with creatures, especially if you drop a Spearman behind it. That could just be kind of funny there. But right now, it's certainly vulnerable. There's nothing going to it, and iScRE4m is just going to be very aggressive, getting the Wing Shield out or taking it out early before Oldman can really drop anything behind it, as I'm sure he was hoping to, as he has a Skirmisher of his own that he's now dropping the top. So iScRE4m in the middle lane, Oldman at the top. And iScRE4m does have some options here. He does sacrifices Spearman for a flip and speed, but drops out the Night Scholar, which could be some very good card draw. But for now, there's a Kabonk, at least for some more cards for Oldman himself. Another Ducal Skirmisher, as well as probably, unless something happens, that Skirmisher is going to get, or both Skirmishers are going to attack with impunity at this point. But the Honorable General is out now. iScRE4m has speed in his pocket. So if Oldman mismoves his troops just slightly, oh no, there is a pother, and that is a very fortunate pother, as both players say, yep, that was pretty lucky. Because now, unfortunately, with the Wing Shield there, notice how that changes the dynamic of the play. Before, if Oldman had moved his creatures down, iScRE4m still could have responded even with the Wing Shield there. Now, because that Relentless unit is out of the picture, not nearly as scary, not nearly as much of a threat. However, there is a Kabonk that's going on. Is iScRE4m going to engage? I still don't know at this point. He does have another Skirmisher. He could drop that Skirmisher and everybody down one and just keep a row that way, since you don't really see order players playing Decimation anymore. So it is a little safer to keep them in rows at this point. But once again, the pother, no 50-50 this time, Oldman. That's too bad, because that could have been especially devastating for iScRE4m to lose two of those in a row. Right now, the Royal Vanguard out for Oldman, and iScRE4m, he does have a pother. He can actually pother and respond a little bit by moving the Wing Shield out of the way, and if he does play the Honorable General, actually what he could have done there was sped the General and then moved his units up, but it actually, no, still works out just as well. He gets a Vanguard out too, so that is, oh no. iScRE4m saying F me, because he didn't have the resources for speed, didn't have the resources for Blessing of Haste. And unfortunately, he's just drawn his units into an attack. So he could have sped there and cleared a lot of stuff, but instead, with the lack of pother, maybe he ran out of time, maybe he played the wrong card. Whew, tough play there. Instead, we get a speed and we get Oldman really being able to turn things around. So significant misplay. iScRE4m understandably upset, but he's still in this though. He does have Imperial Resources. He's sitting on 3 speeds. He's just got to do something to try and protect his creatures from getting their face beaten into oblivion. And in fact, he could actually play a Royal Spearman next turn, assuming Oldman doesn't have a speed or a Blessing of Haste or anything. No, he's just going to Vanguard. So fortunate turn for iScRE4m. That mistake costing him some board dominance, but he can possibly play his way back into it. So there's the Spearman. Are we going to see... There we go. So we're going to see a speed as well. Is he going to sacrifice the General at this point? interesting maneuvers here. Looks like there's the pother, and there goes Oldman's hand right away. So iScRE4m with some options there, still able to take control, but you know, you make mistakes sometimes early, and it's not just about making mistakes. You see some players that rage from time to time, iScRE4m being known to be one of them. But it's all about still, you can type all you want on your keyboard, but you got to keep your mental composure. iScRE4m still holding on to 2 speeds and a blessing of haste. So pretty much anything that Oldman drops down right now, iScRE4m is going to be able to kick back to a point. Unfortunately, that winged soldier is still going to survive. But iScRE4m with a Royal Skirmisher, he could have actually played that Skirmisher and possibly buffed his units a little bit more first. But there we go. More things down, and right away with the extra focus, meaning that there's a board clear for iScRE4m. Oldman, on the other hand, let's see here, 5 cards, 6 resources, saying he doesn't have Imperial resources. So there we go. Both players just kind of talking about their game right now. And it is interesting to see sort of what top-level players have to say about one another. But Oldman's not out of this game. He's just got to get things back on track. However, iScRE4m does have a pretty commanding advantage. The question is, does he want to start gunning for idols with something like a Blessing of Haste, or is he going to play it slow? And usually, order's kind of the tortoise there. It's tough to beat up, and you just want to go slow and steady and try and ramp up your resources, try and ramp up your board as best as possible, because the way that order tends to deal with the ball of death is by creating a ball of death of its own. But there's the first Imperial resources for Oldman, so maybe he can get back on track here. iScRE4m with plenty on the board to play with right now. And he could get another Honorable General. He could speed here. The Spearman, I think, is going to go mano a mano with the speed, or with the other Spearman as well. And are we going to see a Blessing of Haste for the General? That would be quite swell if that were the case. Oh man, iScRE4m electing not to do that, electing to leave all of his creatures to get haste buff next turn. So there we go. Oldman getting the Mangonel all right away. iScRE4m possibly could have done substantial damage, but instead leaving his creatures perfect in Mangonel position. So just that one extra turn, and that kind of seems to be a theme of the week in a way, just that one turn of sitting and trying to set up the perfect play, and suddenly that speed, that Blessing of Haste that could have come into play. Now it's not nearly as powerful, just a speed-focused Mangonel, getting the right cards at the right time. iScRE4m maybe walked right into that. Not Mangonel's going to go, but at what cost, my friends? What cost? Of course, iScRE4m does have a speed Mangonel of his own, but that is how order comes back. Wait, I said people don't play Decimation. Oldman is playing Decimation. That is got to not feel too good for iScRE4m. Oh, man. So there we go. Night Scholar back on the board. And there's a Skirmisher as well, but Oldman just maybe in iScRE4m's head now a little bit. I don't know. He doesn't have creatures to put out himself. The 2 Decimations, good for some direct idol damage. But the Spearmen, those are going to be stopgaps to a point, but not necessarily what Oldman needs to win. And at this point, he's got to get some stuff on the board to actually win this thing. So there's the speed there. And I don't know, that's not going to do a ton of crazy good. That's going to kill 1 Spearman. And that Vanguard is not relentless. Okay, there we go. That Vanguard's now going to kill. And they're both going to take 2 damage, but that's something maybe Imperial Resource later. More importantly, iScRE4m getting the first idol right there. So Oldman's saying you're lucky to get those cooldown reductions. But yeah, iScRE4m's had those since the start. So a little bit of, I don't know, do you call it testy between players? I mean, I know it's just a matter of a game and you're watching text, so especially in terms of when you have people from different countries typing in English, it's not always translating perfectly in terms of what people mean when they say what they mean. But regardless of that, iScRE4m with the other Imperial resources, and Oldman just still the talk there. So it seems like things are pretty respectful. Any fires that were getting stoked or dying, of course, that could change because right now, iScRE4m does not have another speed or another focus, but he does have focuses in his hand. He does have a Mangonel, no speed or Blessing of Haste. As right now, Oldman trying to buttress his 5 health idol and save it from any kind of attack. That Spearman's just going to do nothing at this point. iScRE4m would have to focus his relentless unit to get any damage here, but there's a speed. Do we get the speed mangonel right here to try and clear the line a little bit? I think that is exactly... Oh, no, we get double kabonked. So that means he doesn't even really need to worry about it as much. He can hold on the speed mangonel for another point. That wing shield is going to die, regardless of what happens. And now iScRE4m actually moving his units down, moving his vanguard to attack a 0 health idol. Looks like he's just valuing, or almost tipping his hand to a point that he does have a speed, or he does have something that he can do with his vanguard. But Oldman at this point, not really concerned, just doing the imperial resource thing. And there is there is a lot of damage going towards that poor, what do we call it? The poor creature there. Let me actually take a quick pause there. Nothing really special, just suddenly a 5 health wing soldier from the vanguard that I assume something happened. I apologize. I feel like I should be more on top of this and I missed it. But iScRE4m still, plenty of creatures there with a transposition, just get some more cards out. Does the Imperial Resource again? Yes, he does. Hey, look, it's the Order thing. Last time we saw a Decay game with a bunch of Puppet Nutrition. This time it's Order with a bunch of Imperial Resources and plenty going on here. But right away, Oldman losing some more creatures as he is playing the tiny infantry. Of course, that's what increased the attack there to 5 attack. And there's a speed mangonel as well, taking out some high value targets. Do we pother? Yes, he does get the pother. Gets to take out 3 creatures as well, as there's a wing soldier with 4 attack and an additional summons for Oldman. So this is looking like the standard Order game where mangonels go and obliterate anything and everything that's possible. However, iScRE4m with tons of cards. That's why you do Imperial Resources. Although Oldman is doing a ton of damage on the board, the card advantage is clearly with iScRE4m, and he could go over the top here momentarily. Does he speed General here? Yes, he does, and that is going to be a pretty devastating combo, especially with the focus. In fact, that focus is going to take out the entire board, and iScRE4m is going to be able to take out a second idol right away. Potentially a third one here shortly. He does have a second speed with his General, and he does have a second focus. If Oldman does not protect his bottom idol, this could be GG in the next turn or two. So Oldman saying, he hopes to destroy you, as both players having their continued pleasantries. So overall, good sportsmanship here, which is refreshing to see considering I've seen some ragey games recently. But right now, Oldman doing what he can to protect his bottom row. All iScRE4m has to do at this point is to dodge towards the top if that's what he wants to do, or he could push back. He does have enough resources to possibly take out everything, but I don't think he has the damage to necessarily do it. However, there is... Let's hear, is this going to be it? That's going to be... Let's hear, 13. Yep, that's going to be GG right there. That's a rough way to go. Oldman trying to keep up, but just getting behind early, and iScRE4m being able to maintain the pressure for the entire game. So, well played there, recovering from some mistakes, but overall, good game. Order still alive and well. You don't see as many people play it because Decay is so new and interesting, but Order's going to be getting some very new, good cards as well. So I look forward to seeing what happens to Order, especially as people start screaming for the nerf bat more and more and more. But that's it for now. This is Way to Fail with another Scrolls Ranked replay. I hope you enjoyed it. Feel free if you have any comments or thoughts or want to call me a new broadcaster for missing the simple infantry buffing attack earlier. Feel free to comment or like or dislike because it's all good to me. Otherwise, hope you enjoyed it. I will see you all next time.